welcome to my channel. I'm Rose. I'm your creative guide here at Wild Rose Bohemian. Today I'm just playing with my new tag collage and overlay background kit. We're going to create some ephemera. I'll give you a preview and an overview of the kit itself, talk about transparency, and then give you mostly tips on how to work with this kit. And I hope to see you in the next video. There's really so much here that you could apply, not just to this kit, but when you're creating your journals in general. I'll probably give you about at least 10 different pieces of ephemera that you can make. So I hope you'll join me. Hello, welcome. I'm Rose. I'm the creative guide here. I'm the artist behind Wild Rose Bohemian. Thank you so much for taking a few minutes and joining me today. I'm really excited about what I've got to show you. I hope you have a little play with me. The first thing, let's get out of the way. I have this month my Sovereign freebie. So if you're not familiar with the way that my coffee site works is that so Fridays I give a freebie. It's usually about 8 pages, and that's for everyone. You would just go there to my coffee site and download that. I keep about 6 of them on hand at any given time, and they rotate. So when I release a new one on Friday, the older one retires, and then the retired ones are available to the members all the time. So for every Friday, without being a member, just stop by my coffee site and download a freebie. Yeah, I think you'll probably enjoy what's there. And then I also offer another freebie to everybody, and I just want to explain that because there seems to be a little bit of confusion about it. So I offer what's called a Sovereign freebie, and these are actually above and beyond anything I've ever promised or said and have nothing absolutely to do with membership. 100%, this is about supporting my design team. So if you're a creator, and you have interest in my digitals and you like my art and you would like to be a design team member, which means that you get access to everything in the design team membership on my coffee site, not just what is available. It's actually a tremendous gift. And I also, if you have interest, please reach out to me. And that aside, my Sovereign freebie, which is a freebie I design specifically for some of the design team members, I usually have time to do like 4 or 5 of them because they're time intensive. But mine this month is this one here. It's kind of a sampling of some of the backgrounds from some of my grungy kits. It's just 6 pages, okay? But the Sovereign freebies are designed to support the design team members, and the idea is that each one actually has a password, and if you could go to their site and support them, they're going to give you a password each month for a new freebie too. So that's another opportunity, probably for another 8 pages per design team member, another 30 or more pages. So generally, each month I give away between, let's see, 4 weeks times 8 is 30, at least 32, right? And then probably for another 30. So probably I give away at least 60 pages of freebies every month without a membership required. So it's worth following and along as I post things because I enjoy being generous. And so, I'm going to give you the password for this freebie a little bit somewhere in the video, and kind of the idea is that I'm going to support you by offering you some freebies, and hopefully what you'll do is watch enough to get the password. Also, I'm going to post for you, since I'm going to give a little bit of an explanation. I have this month a really fun collage, tag, and overlay and backgrounds kit that I've made. It's 80 pages, and it's super fun, but it's got a little bit of explaining that I need to do, so I'm going to kind of talk about that and show you, and talk about the most basic thing that we need to understand about this kit. Like I said, I'm going to kind of leave for you some notations. It's okay to fast forward through the parts of this video that are not pertinent to you. If you understand all about transparency and different file types, awesome. You're way ahead of the game for many, but I get asked this question a lot, so I am going to explain it. So this kit is made up of 24 pages of papers that have the transparency preserved. So let me show you what I mean by that. So a good part of them are printed on this sticker paper here. I'm using this one. I'll leave a link in the description box below. It's actually well worth it. I got this on Amazon. I got 30 sheets for about $9. So this here is all tape. So transparent tape. And by transparent, what I'm hoping you can see, right? So this shows you the transparency intact means that you can see through it, that light passes through it. In order for a file to retain that, the only file types that retain that are GIF, GIF, and .png. So the PDFs will retain that too, but and the individual files. So there's all of the files in this kit are .png, which means that we're playing with the transparency or the overlay capacity of different files. So it really magnifies and amplifies the existing digitals that you have and allows you to get more creative with what you're doing. So overlays are a great, see how this is transparent. When it's put down on the paper, this sticker paper, this washi tape, it really adds to like a photograph or something like that. It's meant to be, these are meant to kind of be layered, and I'm going to cut those up individually. So it's got 5 pages of this transparent tape, which is really fun to use on photographs. Okay, and then it's got a ton of these, I think 2 pages of these different what you call it, I guess they're stamps. They're, some of them are postage stamps. Oh heck, Rose, I may not be able to show you each one. Sometimes it's hard for me with my hands. My hands don't work the way they used to. Sorry guys. You can see here, okay. These are really fun. These will be cut out, and they'll help to make, they could be layered in a collage. They could be put on envelopes. So these are what these are. These will get cut out, and since they're stickers, they're really easy to use, and they'll overlay on other pages. So I've also got this one. This is another sheet of numbers and symbols and things like that. So those are printed on sticker paper. I also have, as part of the transparent ones, so these are all the transparent overlays. These could be printed on any paper, and they could be printed to match a kit, and I'll show you that in just a minute. I'm just going to kind of show you these here. So transparency is important when it comes to a file, because a lot of your fussy cuts, if they're in a JPEG format, okay, they're going to have a white box all the way around it, and while you may not see it when you print it, you will if you're trying to layer them in a collage. These here are all meant to be printed on different types of paper, like this here. This will make so your kit in any color cardstock. We'll make like library cards, like here's a invoice, you can see. Great to make ephemera. Here's one that's got some French advertising that I've done. Okay, print on any cardstock, and then great ephemera. These are words. They'll make a background. Oh, I should be showing you both sides here. This will go in any paper you want to print. Again, this here has 34 pages that are like that. Here's another one. This one here has postcard backs and a telegram on it. I've got quite a bit of unique things that I haven't done before in my kits because I'm trying to stretch my creativity a little bit. It's got a really nice page of metal pieces, and I'll show you today. I'm going to be doing the tutorial I have planned has to do with the metal pieces and embellishing tags. Here's some library cards. Okay, you can make ID cards. This is more here. These are all invoices in different, this one here in different size. This will go in my tall journal. These pieces are just arranged differently. Let's see. A lot of photo items like film strips and overlays for those, travel tags, and lots of papers that have just kind of coffee stains and splats that if you were to print them on another piece of paper, it ages that paper. These are photo overlays. I'll show you that in a minute. And a ton of sentiments. I printed this on sticker paper, so these will be really fun to cut out and use. This page here that had the postcards on it and the telegrams, see, this is what happens when you print it on a different paper. Okay, so I'll be able to cut these out and use these as the back of some of the journal cards that I have. This will print on any paper as an overlay. Also, it will be the same thing here. These sentiments, these will print on any paper, and then they could match your kit. So the idea is that a lot of these overlays you can print on the paper from the existing journal that you're making to create more items and amplify the kit that you already have, giving you more pages quickly in creating additional ephemera and things that match with it. Let me also show you, so the other pages, so these are ones that are not transparent but are fun to play with. So there's travel tags. This is what the one looks like here. These are the invoice here and some of the other things printed on. This is matching my pink daisy kit because I'm working on that. It's got the daisies on the back so that I can cut this out for ephemera. There's loads of little metal pieces. For your tags, a bunch of tabs, a whole ton of charms, and these are photo corners. All of these here are tag tops that go over the hole like reinforcements. These are new ones that I've come up with that they fold over the top of your tag, and then that's where you put the hole just to decorate up your tag. There's metal numbers, there's latches, and there's some overlays like I did from the photo kit last month. This is what it looks like printed on white paper, and so you can see if you print it on transparency paper, these will overlay on any page. They're super fun if you want to make like transparency slides or something like that and have them be something that is new, like instead of an I don't know, an insect or, you know, a photo. They're another thing that look really nice in that type of a frame. You can also print those on pattern paper. So I printed this same thing here on the pattern paper to match my kit that I'm working on, the Pink Daisy kit, and now I'll be able to make tags out of these, and I'll show you how that works. This is the same thing where what I did is print on this one. This is one of the tag pages, and it's got, first I printed the tags, and then I printed the overlays, so you can see how it makes a nice set of tags. But these can then also be printed on any pattern paper. A few more pages. These are some of the overlays printed on the smaller cards that I have, and I've printed the Sovereign Freebie on the back of these. Get a whole bunch of pages of tags that are just grungy tags to start with, if what you want to do is kind of make tags for any journal. Here's more of those tags here. This is one of the backgrounds. So I'm showing you maybe half the kit, maybe a little more than half the kit. And I hope what you'll do is play along with me today. This might be a more than one part series. And I also want to mention Cheryl, one of my design team members. She's also playing with the same kit, and she has got a Sovereign Freebie that's coming out today also. So you'll want to look on the coffee site under the Sovereign Freebie section of the shop and look for the link to her video. She's going to be working with some other items, but working with this kit. So I hope to see you soon. Oh my gosh, that was 15 minutes, more than you needed to know. But I want you to enjoy this kit. And let me also mention that if you buy this kit and the photo kit from last month and you combine them together, you get the two of them for 40% off on my Etsy site. And I'll also leave for you a coupon code down there to get 25% off of this kit if you like. It's $7.99 for 80 plus pages. Okay, and like I said, I haven't even showed all of that for you. Okay, so with no further ado, I need to pause the video and I need to cut a bunch of stuff out, and I'll be back in a bit. Okay, one of the first tips I'm going to give you is what I like to do with my scraps before I get too far into having a ton of them as I'm cutting out a kit, is whenever I have a strip enough where I can get reinforcements out of, I printed the background on a bunch of these so that it's double-sided, but it doesn't need to. So all I'm going to do is I'm using my smaller hole punch, and I'm just going to cut in the center, leaving enough room for the reinforcements I might want. Doesn't have to be straight. So you can see I've got a strip of holes. So anywhere where I might get a reinforcement, I do that. And then I use that as a guide to punch the center and make my reinforcements for my tags. These will go on my, on the top of my tags, and they will match my kit beautifully. So I'll kind of set those aside and have those with my other elements for my kit. These are neutral, so I'll just probably save those as a neutral item, but that's one thing you can do. Okay, also more reinforcements here. Let me show you something else. So when they're just about this width, which I get a lot of them because I have my information on the side of a lot of my pages, what I like to do is fold it in half and then punch a hole, cut it. What I have now is a little fold over reinforcement. Of course it would get inked, but now that will perfectly match my kit also, especially when I cut it from the pieces that match my kit. So I'll do that a lot with the edges. I really don't throw a lot away, and you'll probably notice that with my kits also, which is that I try not to leave a lot of blank space. These don't have to match perfectly, but you get the idea. And I even do that sometimes if I have just the square, not just one side, so that they so that even if they don't match. So another thing I want to show you is, okay, so we've got these numbers. These are perfect in a collage, but they're also great tabs themselves. So without actually gluing, they match side to side like this for a tab, cut separately. They look super cute, or as a tag topper. Okay, that way, and even into it being this way. Okay, so these the smaller ones, I actually left intact so that I could fold them in half if I wanted to. If I'm going to use them in a collage, I'll cut them at the time, but if I leave it like this, then what I can do is fold it in half and use it as a tab that way for a smaller item. Sometimes I just want a decorative tab, and then what I'll do is really ink the edge and round the edges. So just giving you some tips as I cut out things, and that's kind of what I'm going to do. It's mostly going to be tips. As I cut these out, another thing that I'm going to pay a lot of attention to is I'm going to leave this edge on all of them. Okay, and I'm going to leave that as an option for myself because so I've cut this out and left this here. What I'm going to do is score, and I leave that edge on because if I leave it, just gonna score here, it gives me an additional option and something that I can cut out later. But I'm going to put these together. This was not the tool to score. It scored too much into my item. So all I'm going to do is, when I've cut these pieces out also, I cut the edges straight so that I could get a uniform rounded edge. See what I mean? I cut the edges straight. That way I can make a choice after I've cut it out to make sure that my edges match. Okay, but this one, so leaving this like this means that what I can do is use it as a tab to either have this, so this was, I scored too much, so be careful when you do that. I shouldn't have used this tool. I had my scoring lesson learned, okay? But you can use it here as a tab, and then you can have a fold out, or you could glue this together here, and I think this, I probably need a bigger circle. So it's probably too big. Let's see. I think that was too big. Yeah, it was too big, but you get the idea here, which is that you can very easily make a slide. And if you wanted to make it a pocket, so just leave it so that it's an option at the end. Clearly this is a bungled mistake, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to throw it away. When you fold them in half, the center that you create, you know that it matches instead of cutting them separately. So that's why I just wanted to show you why I leave the edge so that I at least have an option at the end, unless I know for sure what I'm creating from these. And if I do, you know, I just cut them out like this, because often not only do I use this as a pocket or stacked pockets, especially in a tag, these are perfect to make like stacked in a row. They're also great for like the base of a collage. Okay, so what do you do with something like this? You can leave them together and create a pocket or a flip. Okay, I'm gonna cut these apart and they make a really cute paper clip. To make a paper clip, you just need a piece of paper folded in half. It can be a scrap that is smaller than the size of the little square. And for real, all you do is slide this over. I could be using a bigger paper clip if I wanted. And you just add glue. These would be cute with a hole punched in it with a charm hanging off. Inked, mostly because I'm giving you tips and tricks. I'm not gonna ink. I'm wanting you to see the versatility of the different items in the kit. And I also want to help you to think outside the box a little bit as far as, let's see, here we go. As far as, oop, yeah, there we go. Probably should let this dry. But I'm just making sure this is pressed down well on either side. Just goes on like this. Oh. Get the idea. Okay, these also make great like little pockets to tuck things into if you want to make a set of like 3 in a row pockets. So that's as labels, as like a paper clip, as a layered pocket. So like that. Okay, so I've cut all of these out and punched holes in some. Left some like this, and then some for collage tags. Okay. And then the sheet that is like this, I cut a bunch of these just for the collage tags. I haven't inked them, but I did round the corners. These ones I made into pockets, so they're just a mini little pocket to have in my stash. Oops. See that? One is cut on the side, one cut on the top here. Okay, and then with the circles that punch out like this, what I just do is ink them, and there's 2 ways to use them as a tag topper. You can put them on the top of your tag like this and then punch a hole, or you can ink them and then cut them in half like that and then use them the opposite way, which is as a tag or a tab like this. So I will save all of my circles and bend them in half and do that with them and set those aside too. The butterflies will become a pocket probably, or just even a tag, just a piece of ephemera tucked in on its own. I printed one of the Sovereign Freebie on the back. Here's what the travel tags, the small ones, look like. They're not inked, nor do they have holes punched, but I'll set those aside for a quick grab. I will probably in a collage cut some of these up even smaller and use the words off the tags. And I may even cut some parts to just make a pocket. So they won't just be a tag. They have multiple uses because there's a lot of different fun elements on those tags themselves. Okay, these little pieces here, they were all meant as like tag toppers or like reinforcements, especially if you're gonna hang a charm or something on the top here. So they get inked really well, and probably on a smaller tag than this. There's another page that are bigger for bigger tags. I'm using the biggest tag and the very smallest reinforcement, so it doesn't look great. I wanted to show you what that might look like. You can put them on tabs too, like here, with a punched hole, and then you know, some kind of a dangle. So you'll want to cut them out and then ink them really well because they're smaller if you use those. I wanted to show you at the same time how I cut out the tabs. I like to fold them and get them in a place where they're matching, because what does matter is what you see on this side. You want the edges to match. So if I cut them out when it's folded, generally I get a better result, even if I have to cut into the tab a little bit. And I don't try to, let's see if that's helpful at all. This portion, yeah. And then they get inked. There's a whole page of tabs for you to decorate and just keep and have on hand. But that's what they look really cute like that. So I'm going to show you some of these pieces finished, but I'm wanting to show you as I cut, partly why I don't just cut the whole thing out. These I cut into a strip to cut. And these are photo corners. I'm not sure if I'm going to show you how those work, but they can go like on any photo to dress up any photo, but they could go on the edge, glued into your journal, and then stick the ephemera. I don't know if you've seen those antique photographs. Okay, so I'm just going to start to work too now with some of the sticker overlays so I can kind of show you how that works. I've got this one and this one are printed up, and then the aged tape. So I just cut a small amount up. You can cut these up all together and have them to choose from, or I like to kind of leave them in a sheet. I cut 4 at this time. I'm going to work with the collage process with the butterflies, and so I just like to work kind of methodically, not one at a time, but kind of in a series. So I cut the price tags here, these ones, and you can see I just randomly placed them. So I'm going to just kind of decorate these up with those, show you as I go. They're really easy to work with. You just pull off the sticker, and because they're transparent, you can kind of layer it up. So let me also show you kind of the difference between printing on cardstock and then printing on the sticker paper. You can see how the sticker paper retains the transparency. This is one of the ones that is not an overlay. And even if it was, printing this onto the cardstock, you don't get the retain the transparent format. So some of the overlays are really nice when they're printed on something that is transparent, like the sticker paper or some acetate, something like that. So on these, part of my process is I've added a price to some of them, but what I want to make sure I do is add a number in some way, and I'm just going to vary that. So like on this one, I added a clock. I'll make sure on these next ones that I kind of show you, my process is to make sure that each one has a number, and each one I'll show you as I go. So first I'm starting with the number. So I added a little bit of this distress spray to a few of these. I think they turned out really fun. Let's talk about photos next. So the kit has just some basic, I think there's 18 or 20 photos, and they're printed 4 per sheet. So I folded those and then just created a little folder. Tuck in there. And a belly band. This one, you could make it a file folder by adding a tab to it. This one, same thing here. Thank you so much for joining me today. I think that just based on time's sake, I'm going to cover the stuff that is related to printing up specifically for different kits for when I use it with a particular kit. I'll be doing that next with this Pink Daisy kit. And I promised you a password for the freebie, and the password is thank you, all capitals, THANKYOU, and there'll be a link for that sovereign freebie in the description box, but I will not be placing the password in the description box. Go over some of the few of the things that we made today using this kit. It's really so versatile. Those are the photos. There's a pocket. Remember this one. Oh my goodness. There's a ton of the photos. We didn't really play with the photos a lot. Put those aside. Anyways, thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video. I'm Rose.